One day we will have an intro and our podcast will start more organically. Okay, that's it. That's how we're starting this one.
Episode 8.
Final episode.
Final episode of the
Final
season.
episode. Congratulations to us. Congratulations to us.
Congratulations.
And for everybody watching and not listening, you'll notice that we have upgraded our lives. We have 2 microphones now. Crystal's doing okay with it.
True. I have anxiety, but
Yeah.
we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
I might get my way and have one mic.
One big mic.
Yeah.
What's up, Mike? And I'm sitting on a pillow because Crystal's significantly taller than me, and my microphone in the videos, you couldn't see my face. So I'm accepting I'm going to have back problems for this podcast, so you're welcome. You're welcome in advance. So welcome to Pudu episode 8, our final episode of the season. We will be coming back to everybody, I guess at the beginning of April?
Yes.
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 And
No, March. No, well, we'll be recording
yeah, but
because
then,
I'm
like,
gone
April-
away for a few weeks. In
yeah,
April.
but then starting April will be our second season. And there'll be
Yeah.
some changes, like we talked about in one of our last episodes. I'm really serious. I'm going to have, like today I woke up and to do this podcast and I was like, my hair! I need to get that 80s hairspray and I need to get good makeup for this podcast. That's going to be an upgrade. And maybe our set design will be a little bit different, but we're still going to be badass bitches doing our fucking thing.
Yeah.
And Crystal's going away on a trip soon.
Yeah.
Well, like an educational, working kind of trip.
Yeah.
So-
To Ecuador and then off to go see my grandbaby.
That's right.
River, I'm coming for you. Abuela's coming.
In the UK.
In the UK. Super
Yeah.
excited about
So
that.
you've got a lot of traveling coming up.
Yeah, which I'm happy. You know me. I love to
Yeah.
travel.
But it's going to be nice because you're going to travel. And then when you come back, it's basically going to be spring.
Yeah.
Bring the heat back.
I'm
Well,
going
fuck,
to.
you're going to the UK.
Right.
Don't bring that shit back at all. Don't bring that shit back at all.
Would you like the rainy, gloomy days, love? They do get a bit of sun for a little
Yeah.
bit and they go wild.
Do you remember I was like, when you
Wow.
lived in the UK, did you even own a bathing suit? And you were like, "What? Yeah. But it's because, like, in my mind, the UK is so, and I don't mind. I actually kind of like the idea of that. Like we were talking about
You
the other
do.
day. I do like the rain.
You do like the rain a lot more than I do. I think
feel
you
like
would
it's kind of
thrive
like-
in the UK,
Because I
actually.
feel like it's kind of like romantic.
It is.
Yeah, there's something like
But when it's constant
sky
though,
is
for like
crying.
2
No, I would
months,
not like that.
you're like, oh,
No,
please,
I wouldn't like that.
I need some
Mm-mm.
sunshine.
No, like one of my favorite things ever is, oh God, these little popper things. I'm trying not to touch it.
I know. Same with me.
One of my favorite things ever is in the summer when you've had like a few days of it being really, really hot and really, really humid, and then it breaks with like a thunderstorm in the
Yes.
night.
Oh, yeah. That the
so
sound.
nice. Oh yeah.
The sound is amazing,
Oh
isn't
yeah. I love to go outside and run down the side street over there in my bare feet. It's so nice. I must
it? Because
look
it's
fucking
like
crazy.
there's that smell too.
Oh,
If
the
there's
earthy,
it's that, and
fresh.
it's warm. There's that
Yeah.
warm. There's nothing like it.
No,
If
there
there's
isn't.
a certain energy. Yeah,
It's
it's yummy.
such a beautiful, awesome thing.
It is yummy.
Okay, so we're gonna start this motherfucking podcast off the way we always do, except, oh my God, we were so mad at ourselves. We interviewed Nico Cannon. It was a beautiful, beautiful interview.
Yes.
But we fucking forgot to do a Would You Rather with him.
But he did do
He
a
thought
good
of his
one.
own.
He did think of his
Yeah.
own. Should we share it?
Yeah, we'll give him the Coles notes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm always the main talker.
Good.
Okay, so his question was, would you rather only ever be able to give hugs, or would you rather only ever be able to receive a hug?
It's a good one, isn't it?
It's a good one.
It's a really good one. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh. I'm like,
So far, everybody I've asked, including the 4 of us, our daughter producer was there in Toronto, was everybody picked give hugs.
Yeah.
But it was funny because we were like, well, I would want to give hugs because, and we're giving these kind of like selfish reasons why. And then Nico says this like beautiful platitude about love and stuff. And we were all like, yeah, his answer was way better than ours.
It was so much. You're like, oh, that was nice.
That's why he is who he is.
Yeah. The
This is
amazing
why we
man
are
he
who we
is.
are.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually thought of one, and me and Crystal actually do exist outside of this podcast, and we do talk to each other every day. But it's funny because we'll think of like podcast ideas together or like would you rathers together, and then it's like no, like let's not answer this, let's wait for the podcast. But then sometimes we're like, oh, TikTok motherfucker, we gotta wait like 7 days before we can hear this answer. So here's my would you rather that I thought of the other day when Crystal sent me a picture of herself being very wonderful on a boat cruise, and you could see her wonderful 20-year-old chest.
Gavin, our cancer friend, the girl.
Oh shit, that's right, because I was calling out cancer season, and yes, my Aquarius friends did call me out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I got a voice note from one of them. God bless her. She's my favorite. She's a proud supporter of this podcast. And she's like, you think I wasn't going to hear that? I was like, I knew you were. That's why I pre-apologized. Okay, so our cancer friend called us out too. God love him.
Well, he sent the picture.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, look at what I found in the treasure box.
Oh, it's a good
treasure
treasure
box.
box.
I was like, look at how young
boobies.
and fresh, and I think I was 19 or 20 years old, and just everything just
Tight.
perky and tight
And everything's
and perky
up.
and tight.
Gravity was kind of looking past us then.
Oh, yeah.
Gravity's like, don't even see you.
Yeah,
Like
don't-
you're a ghost. And now gravity's like, what's up, bitch? Every morning I wake up, it's like this on my face. Just like, how's it going? And you're like, no, leave me alone. Give me a break just today.
I love how you see gravity. What's up, bitch?
He's a gangster.
Yeah.
Just standing when I'm like getting undressed for the shower, he's like maniacally looking at me in the mirror, like you're gonna fucking hate this. I'm like, I am. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my question after seeing Crystal's perfect perky 20-year-old body and thinking of mine back then, and I was like, fuck, I'd love to have my 20-year-old boobs back because I actually have D boobs. But D boobs at 40 after 3 kids and breastfeeding is not a magical thing as much.
Right.
They're still great. Love my boobs.
They're
Wouldn't ever want
gorgeous.
anything bad to happen to them.
They're
I love
beautiful.
them. But then when they were 20, like I looked like I had fake boobs.
Yeah.
But better because
Yeah.
they were like soft. Oh, they were nice. They were really nice. And that got me thinking. I was like, fuck. And you know what? Like, since this is also a mom podcast and we talk about bodies and stuff like
Yeah.
that, listen, as I just said, I love my boobs. I wouldn't want anything to happen to them. I appreciate them every day. My shoulders don't always because bras can be tiresome on there.
Yeah.
But we're also allowed to long for what we had because it was ours. You
It
know?
was ours.
It was ours.
It was
You know?
ours.
And it's like, it was so nice to feel so young.
Yeah.
Feeling like
Yeah.
being young felt fucking nice.
Yeah.
You know? You weren't like, we were just complaining about our jaws. Who
Yeah.
cares? If I had a sore jaw when I was 20, the next day it'd be gone and I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Now it's like shit stays around forever. Forever. Like when you slip outside, you know, you get up all slow, you're like, oh fuck, oh fuck. If I was 20, I would have bounced straight up and been like, oh my god, that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
No, now you're
I got
like,
a little bruise on my bum.
and now it's like, you get up slow and you like assess your body. You're like, I think everything's okay. I think it's all good. So I don't care what anybody says. I don't care all of the feel-good memes and all of this. I agree with that shit too. But I believe you're also allowed to miss what you had because
Of course, you can have both.
You can have
You can
both.
move into aging super gracefully and
Yeah.
beautifully, and for everybody, that's going to look different.
yeah.
It's going to look different. You don't have to do this because somebody says to do
No.
this. You do what feels good for you, and if getting Botox or fillers and that's your flow, then you do that. If that's going to the gym or whatever
Or your
way.
maximizer bras.
Yes, I love my maximizers because my boobs were size B and they were perky.
Yeah.
Like they were my little torpedoes. Did
Did you wear a bra a lot
Never,
or no?
never wore. Why? I didn't need to.
Yeah.
And now, like, because after breastfeeding, the one's lower than the other.
Yeah.
Very noticeable.
I don't think it's very noticeable. I've seen your boobs many times. And you know me, I'm honest. I feel like I would have.
You're like Crystal. That you're looking a little deformed.
No,
there.
yeah, no.
a little deformed.
You're good.
But that's why I wear the maximizers because, like, I when I do wear a dress or something, I'd like to have, and you get the boob sweat. Remember?
Fucking boob sweat on our drive back from Toronto. I was like, because I've been having like really bad shoulder and neck issues. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm just not going to wear a bra unless we do our interview and stuff. So while driving to Toronto, but we were jamming out. We were doing our car singing and stuff. And
Dancing
I literally
away.
had beads of sweat coming down from like my boob sweat into my sweatband in my joggers. They were like
She's
acting
like,
as
Crystal, my boob sweat's out of control.
So you have to lift your boob, and then you have to do this with your shirt. You have to like flick your shirt like this to fan it.
What other women fan their boob
Yes,
sweat?
or you lift up the boob and then you tuck
wipe
the
it.
shirt underneath,
And you wipe
then you
it.
just kind of like press down, like
and you
squishity,
wipe
squishity,
it.
squishity. Okay, so back to our question. So the question is, okay, and I don't know Crystal's answer.
I don't know her.
And it was
answer
so
either.
hard because we thought of this like, I don't know, like a week ago,
Yeah.
and we haven't been able to. Have you thought about it? Because I
No.
have. Okay,
I
so yours
haven't.
is raw dog.
I'm raw
Okay,
dog.
because I've been thinking about it. So the question is, and you guys all know to play along,
Please.
is would you rather have your face stay like this forever?
This face right now.
Forever.
43 years
Yeah.
old.
So from like your neck and your hair, everything on from your like clavicle up
Okay.
is going to be okay. So for non like body anatomy nerds, like basically like your chest bone up.
Okay.
Like that's gonna stay this way forever. If you live
Forever.
to like 110, you're gonna look like this bitch. Okay?
Not my body, just my
Not
face.
your body.
Just my face.
Yeah, if you live to like 110, you still have like a 110-year-old body, but like a fabulous face.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Or the picture of the tits that you sent. Okay, so everybody, your 20-year-old tits, men, we're gonna just say your whole, like your body. Because I asked this to
20-year-old
my
body.
husband, he was kind of like, and I was like, okay, I have to change it just body. Because I think men don't have special boobies.
Yeah, they don't.
You know, they don't. So for them, it's just
They
like
like special
body. So, okay, so let's just do it for ladies though right now.
Okay.
Or everything else ages, but not only you don't just keep your boobs now. No, you upgrade. You get your like 20-year-old boobs, or whenever your boobs look the most fabulous. Okay.
Right.
And they never age. So what would you pick? So 20-year-old boobs, never changing. Okay. And you get rid of these boobs and you get 20-year-old boobs back. Okay. Or you keep this face forever.
Well, I've got questions here.
I like
because
questions.
I've got questions. Okay. Because where am I living? Where am I? Because if I'm in a place where I can be naked
Yeah.
and my boobs can be out on a constant basis, then I would choose the boobs. But then if I'm in a place where society is only going to get to be able to see this beauty, then I choose my face.
Okay, so I'm gonna make it.
Right?
I'm gonna
Do you
make it so
see?
you have to give an honest answer.
Okay.
So you're gonna be like a half the time traveling,
Okay.
which is like your dream.
Okay.
And then half the time, like in Canada.
Okay. Oh,
I know.
okay. That's an honest answer.
Yes.
I think, I really do like my 20-year-old boobs, but I do like my face right now. And the majority of people on this planet are not going to be as lucky to see my boobs as they will to be able to see my face constantly. So I think I choose my face.
Your face. I choose face too.
I choose my face.
I choose face, too.
Lucky you guys. I choose this.
Okay, I choose face too. I
Okay,
choose face
and
too.
why? Why not the boobs?
Because faces to me are life.
Yeah.
I feel a lot through people's facial expressions and the way that their faces have, I don't want to say aged, because you can even see it in like a 12-year-old kid, right? The way that you can see the way their face emotes. So for me, and it's funny because aging faces are a lot more difficult to get a better read on that, because bully gravity has just taken over so much that everyone just kind of looks. I'm so glad no old people watch this podcast because I'm such a bitch to old people. I'm an old person to be, so I'm allowed to be mean. But like, it's just age just takes over. It just takes over, and like you lose that ability to be like, oh, I can kind of see what kind of person you are as much, because it's like really everything just starts to really sag. So imagine like never having that. Like already year after year, I always find more shit that I'm like, what? Like right now, it's like this eye is so much more hollowed out than this eye. Why? That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Why does that have to happen? And I have to put so much more concealer on this one to like brighten it. So if I never had to worry about anything shifting or changing on my face again, could you imagine how well you'd sleep at night? Fuck.
You're like, I can sleep any way I want.
Yeah, I can sleep with my
scrunch
face
up
in a
my
fucking
face.
pillow.
Yeah, I can scrunch my face up like this because nothing's going to change, motherfuckers.
Now when I go to sleep, I have like
No, you do.
a thing
You
here.
lie there like this.
Yes.
You're like, do not move. Lay like you're in a fucking coffin.
It's true, because sometimes we're dealing our new mic setup here. Okay,
I know.
because sometimes it's like I'll go to bed like because I'm a side sleeper, so I love to sleep on my
same
side.
with me.
You love a side.
Yeah.
That's your side. This is my side.
I start off like this,
Yeah.
and then I'll move to this side. I usually don't go to the right side. More, I go onto my heart.
Okay, I go into this one.
Okay.
And then I put my hand above my head like that. Oh, it's like you know when you know the spot.
I do.
Oh yeah, you're a thumb sucker. I
wasn't going to tell. It was only going to be a surprise for the people
for
watching.
the YouTube fans. But
She wrecked it for
I
you
put
guys.
I put my hand over because that's why I put my hand up.
Yeah.
And then I put it over my mouth because I kind of like my mouth covered when I'm sleeping.
Okay.
We're weirdos.
We are
Everyone's
weirdos.
weirdos with their own sleeping things.
Everybody has. I don't suck my thumb often. It's like really when I'm like stressed.
Yeah.
And it's like I like this like it's like a little pet.
Yeah.
Like a little.
Just brings you comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know. We're getting used to our new mic setup, guys. I'm sorry if you can hear banging.
Sorry.
Okay, so that's our answers.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
We're gonna
And with the face, you can see the soul. People, you can
what
see.
I mean.
Yeah, you can see people's soul. It's like.
and it kind of gets as they get older, it gets a little harder to see that. And I know nobody wants to hear that because everyone knows aging is inevitable and we all want to be like everything's beautiful, but it is true.
Well, it is beautiful, but it's just beautiful in that way of like.
But like youth and beauty are intrinsically connected.
Yes.
They really are. Like that's why when you see a baby, it's moving.
Well, you get it's like and that smell. People are like.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
like,
You don't go up to a
sucking
98-year-old and be like, "Let me just smell you." Oh yeah.
Let me
Formaldehyde.
Let me smell
Ooh,
death.
musk. Yeah, no. So youth is, I don't care. It's connected to beauty. We all know it. We all chase it. It is what the fuck it is. But you just
There
have...
is no shame here.
No.
And that's what today's topic is.
That's what today's topic
Fuck
is.
sexual shame. Actually,
Yeah.
no. Fuck any shame. Fuck
Yeah.
shaming shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're over it.
Okay, so let's tell you a story. We're going to tell you a
We're
story.
over
We're
it.
excited
We're
because
very
we've
excited.
been waiting
Yes.
all 8 fucking episodes for our first hate mail. And whereas other people might be like really upset by it, we are like it's interesting.
It's
right?
brought so
Because
much
it's-
growth, hasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It's been
and
beautiful.
That's what criticism does.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like I don't love criticism, but I do love how I feel when I walk away from it once I've processed it. And so we got our first bit of hate mail, and I can actually, when I say that, I can feel our loyal audience being mad, but don't be mad.
No.
It's okay.
No, this has really brought some
And now Crystal and I have amazing inside jokes.
yeah.
Like, so don't cry for us. But
Yeah.
like, do you want to share in a nutshell?
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, in a nutshell, somebody reached out and
Someone from like kind of your past-ish.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
in the spiritual community, and they decided that they wanted to share their concerns and their thoughts, and very welcoming, as you know, I always am, and she went on to say that the container is dirty.
Okay, so for normies listening to
So
that.
for normies listening to that, when we a container means a space, we're holding a space. So what Chris and I are doing right now is holding a space. When I'm in ceremony with my clients, I'm holding a space. When you're sitting in ayahuasca or a mushroom ceremony or even a cacao ceremony, even a yoga class, you're in a space and in a container. And so whoever's holding that container, you want them to be in their integrity.
You could compare it to like something universal, I think, would be like kids in a classroom.
Okay.
You know, like a teacher is holding the
Yes.
space. So that's
Yes.
why if the teacher is like
100%.
uplifting and stuff, the class is kind of like feeds off that energy.
Yes.
But if a teacher is like, you didn't do your work, you're like, they have this like, oh, that container of the classroom, you walk in and you can feel
it,
that.
and nobody's really growing and expanding.
Right.
And
yeah, it breeds like, bleh.
yeah, you walk in and the kids are like, I don't want to fucking
hate
learn.
school.
I hate this teacher.
Yeah.
Right. So a
Yeah.
really great analogy.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So she proceeded to express that she feels that the container that I'm holding is not
It's dirty. Say it like it is.
it's dirty.
Said Crystal has a dirty container, which I feel like the sexual innuendos are infinite there.
And it's not hygienic. And she brought up, I've shared my past with people, and so this went to show me like a part of me was like, see, you shared your past, and now it's getting
bit you in the ass.
get thrown in your face with people of
Because
judgment.
you trusted her to do that.
Yeah, of judgment and shame.
Yeah.
Right. And she was very aware of her judgment, and she was very conscious, which I found was beautiful. And I really listened to what she said, and I was like, wow. I was like, I honor her, and I see her, but it's no value to me. This isn't mine.
So she basically said that because, the
with
episode
sexual,
that we did, that really
with
got,
kink.
okay, first of all, it's our number one, it's got like close to 800 views on YouTube, and it was about our last one we did here in our home studio was about sex club and swingers parties and stuff, and just kind of asking you for our audience, and obviously tons of people were interested because it's our most viewed podcast, it's our most viewed YouTube. So obviously this is a space that people want to know more about but don't quite have resources or whatever it is, right? Or maybe they don't want to fucking Google it because they don't want somebody in their house to see it, whatever it is, right? Again, shame. And that's the whole way that this negative, like this sort of like negative comment came towards us, is because she basically said, because Crystal is involved with this podcast and these communities, that she's like, that she's not technically allowed to be a spiritual person.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to be spiritual and to have kink.
Yeah.
It's no and no.
Yeah.
That's the energy that I got from her, is that she was like, she doesn't know what that realms is, and what she feels is that there's trickstery and there's manipulation and of course there is all of that in every container. In the spiritual container, there's manipulation. In the school system, the government, everything, there's manipulation. That's part of the duality of life. You need the good and the bad. Like when I responded to her in the most gentle way that I knew how, and I said, those dark, dirty containers, that's where my dance was the best. That's where my growth and my expansion was. So how can that dirty container be bad? Right? And I know within the quote unquote healthy light container, there's been my expansion and growth there, and I've had people in those containers be out of their ethics and their integrity with me, and so there's dirtiness in there. So, but I don't look at it as bad. I don't look at either of them as good or bad. I just look at it as like, wow, look at how when we have a trauma, an experience that is like this feeling, and then we grow and alchemize within it, and we can look in the past and go, wow, I needed that dirty dirt to move into this beautiful higher frequency.
Yeah.
because now I know the difference, and I know the different levels of frequencies that I can take myself. But I'm still exploring this. I'm still trying to figure out spirituality and kink.
That's like everywhere, right? And that's why we decided to do this, is not just because of your experience with this comment, but that's because it's prevalent everywhere on fucking planet Earth.
Yes.
It's like where there's any sort of sense of spirituality or religion, however you want to kind of group that.
Yeah.
It's like
dogmentation. Is that the right word?
Like dogma. Right? Like, because dogmatic practices are inevitable when you create some kind of practice, like religion. Like, it's like, okay, you know, you're Christian, okay, so now you've got to follow these fucking specific Christian rules or whatever. So it's like wherever there is spirituality, I'm just gonna blanket term it spirituality, because that could be like a religious spirituality, that could be like free thinker spiritual, whatever you want. So wherever there's spirituality, it's like, no, you can't have kinky sex.
Right.
That's so weird.
It's very weird, because like you were saying, you're like,
it's weird
you're
to
like,
me.
You're like, Crystal, think about it.
Yeah.
Putting a penis, a lingam in your mouth is weird.
It's way weirder than getting like somebody spanking your bum.
Yeah.
Like, that's so weird.
And then I was thinking, when you said that, I was like,
okay, so when I'm watching,
you're right. When you think about it, you're like, that seems more dirty than that.
Well,
but
somebody pisses out of a penis.
Yeah.
It's like no piss is coming out of my hand. My bum's pretty. It should be clear of any creepy crawlers or anything. But like, it's funny because, hi Nick Bosa, I'm going to talk about you again. You know, when I'm watching, you know, when you watch football and you see like let's say Nick Bosa does something really, really great. Somebody from the team comes and they slap his butt. They don't shove his dick in their mouth.
Yeah.
It's like spanking a bum is nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
If you have trauma around it or something, that's a different thing. But you can have trauma over anything. Maybe, like, I don't know, maybe you had a really bad experience in the fucking winter and now winter gives you trauma, who knows, whatever. Trauma is always lurking, just like fucking, what is it, gravity? I'm gonna get you. So trauma is always there, like waiting. But I guess, like, okay. So we were able to travel like to and back from Toronto, and she read me the hate mail, and I was like, yay, hate mail. And like, we were able to, like, for like what, 8 hours, like, really dive into this topic. Yeah. And we were able to kind of get some sort of clear cut ideas and differences, but I don't want to say like differences between us. No. But just different ways that we've approached it, because we come from different experiences.
But this is what I love about you and I, is that, like, I'll come in as my Gemini fucking whirlwind spinning, and I'm like, Chris, my head's spinning. And you're like, okay, let's look at it from this. And then I'm like, well, what about this? And you're like, yeah. And it's like, we're going in it with like every fucking angle. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about you and I, is that, like,
me too,
we can just really peel each other. And so thank you for being that safe spot for me.
Thank you for doing that for me as well, because it makes me feel like, I like that you're not offended. What I'm not trying to do, like, so let's just say this to our audience. I personally don't feel sexual shame, and we'll get into that. And I actually didn't even know that until we sort of started talking about it. Like, I knew it, but I didn't, like, know it to say it, right? And then you don't live in sexual shame at all. No. But when it creeps up on you, I feel like you're a little bit more surprised. Yes. You know, you're like, sexual shame is here, and I wasn't ready for it.
Because I'm like, it's like gravity.
Yes, it's like my gravity.
It's like sexual shame's like right around the corner. It's like, and I'm like, no.
It's like a scary movie, like the fingers on the side, like, hello, Crystal, like, and that's not a boogeyman in my life. But like, when what I love so much about you is that I'm able to talk to you like where you're at. So this morning when you came into my house, you were like, oh, you were feeling it. You were kind of trying to, like, battle sexual shame, you know what I mean? But it's hard to battle something, and you also don't want to admit, not you, anybody, it's like you don't even want to admit you're battling it.
Yes.
You know, because you feel shame about
I feel shame about
the
shame. Yes, that's what I said to you. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not even going to shame anymore.
Yes.
I'm fucking over this shit. I'm fucking over it. I'm done. Like, fuck you.
So it's like, I like that I'm able to talk to you about that stuff without having you be like
walk me off the ledge. You're like, come on, Crystal, come on.
Yeah, but a lot of people feel offended by that,
no,
right? Because they kind of want to be there, and I respect that, and I get that about people. But my love language, as I think I've said on here before, is I want to see the people that I love out of pain.
Yeah.
And I go about it in my own way, which is being like, let's pull you out. You know, it's like, I see you in the hole, I'm coming. And then I go down into the hole and I'm like, it sucks here. Let's get back up. And it's like, I'm not ready. And I'm like, all right, let me think about this. I gotta get them out of here. You know, but you're pretty easy to get out of there. You're like, oh good, I was just waiting for someone to let me the fuck out of here.
I'm like, when's somebody gonna come and
help me. I'm coming, Crystal. But like, for me, that's not been super well received my whole life. You know, I get a lot of resistance because and that's okay.
Yeah.
But people really like to be in their pain and suffering a lot.
Their victimhood.
Yeah. But it's like,
bless them.
So what I was saying before, okay guys, I'm taking a sip of water. What I was saying is like, I feel over the last couple years, I've had to like, it's weird because I've talked a lot to my husband, I've talked a lot to you, it's just kind of come up. I feel like I'm like what do we always say? What do we say? Common denominator. So obviously it's kind of coming from me, but like, dealing with my husband's kind of like traumas that everyone gets sexual traumas and stuff like that.
Yep,
and
we all do.
Shame, like all this, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he's obscure, but talking him through it over the last like 3 years or so, it made me realize that I was like really blessed. Like when it came to my growth as a sexual person, I started like reading Cosmo magazines when I was like 11, and I was able to like look at like Kama Sutra, because that was a big thing in the 90s. Everyone was like obsessed with Kama Sutra. And I was like reading about Kama Sutra. I was reading about people's embarrassing sexual things. I was reading about sexual diseases and stuff like that. And it gave me this safe container to learn about all of this as kind of like secondhand knowledge. That way when I started doing stuff like that, like remember I was telling like the one that I remember the most, the embarrassing story when the girl like sat on the guy's face and then farted on his chin. And that just like normalized weird shit like that. And I was like, okay, I guess embarrassing stuff happens all the time in sex. I guess dicks don't work sometimes. I guess girls fake their orgasms. Like I was just like, okay, all of this is real and I accept it all. And then I was really lucky that I picked really beautiful people to like enter into like sexual spaces with in like really safe ways, because I have amazing taste in men. And I was really, really lucky. I was really, really lucky. And that is definitely not the experience of most people. So for me, I feel almost like, how can I say this? Like almost pompous, being like, well, I don't have sexual shame.
Something is just, it's coming to me right now. So you saying that, and you're like, okay, so out of this, I'm one of the very few, which you are. So then that goes, then I'm like, when you said that, I'm like, karma, shame, collective energy, blah. And I'm thinking, okay, like that just goes to show how deep that fucking energy is, babe. Like how like ingrained it is. Even if you think you're this free spirited, love, peace, and everything, I'm sure if you dug a little deep, there's some shit in there. I'm not saying to you, I'm saying to like, you know, like it's like, so then it makes me feel like, how do we move out of this? How do we alchemize this? How do we
don't think there's like a one size fits all for it.
Perverted, because if we didn't, okay. So when I was, my head was spinning. I was thinking about energies, right? So in the native tradition, in a lot of traditions, there's these outside energies that are called entities. I call them, they're the shadows. There are shadows, which we created. They're our creation. So to me, they're not bad.
No.
They're not bad.
Yeah.
I know that those energies have been created in a low frequency, so their intention isn't the best for us.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
No.
Okay. So then I'm thinking to myself, if these energies are there and they're the energy of shame, if we depulverized,
Love Crystal's words.
depulverized,
I'm going to make a YouTube clip of all of Crystal's amazing words. I love it.
I'm like, I just need a new language because this one's limiting.
I'm here for it. We'll be selling the dictionary in a couple
Yeah.
years.
If we depulverize, then these energies won't even be able to exist.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yes,
no,
no.
I'm asking you this question. Please tell me, am I right? Is that the right answer?
Yeah, it's the right answer. And I think the thing is that people always think in such fucking extremes. So you're like, no. If you normalize butt spanking, you normalize like child abuse. It's like, what? That's a fucking hop, skip, and a jump away.
Yeah.
Right? And that's
Yeah.
why I love the language of 2 or more consenting adults.
Yes, that's the whole thing. And so if you
consent.
are so if we are, I talked to my teacher today as I spun out on her. Bless her. I love you. Thank you for putting up with me, babe. And she said, "How does safe container feel?" And I was like, "Ooh, I like that."
Yeah.
A safe container. So that's like a teacher holding a safe container. You and I having a home and holding a safe container in our home. I really enjoyed that word because it made it feel like it's not clean, it's not hygienic, it's not, because the English language, it's very limiting, and when you say these words, when you say clean and you say hygiene, you are putting in a frequency of shame and dirtiness.
Yeah.
You are. You are. Even if you're spiritually like being like, well, blah, 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 and it's all spiritual talk, it's like, well, you're actually putting in a frequency to making somebody feel that they're fucking dirty.
Yeah.
And what if they are dirty?
But
What if
it's
they
like-
are dirty? What's fucking wrong with that? Then you know what? That's their experience they have to go through. And you as a friend or a person, I think, to come along and to just show them love.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
100%.
Not to judge them, not to be fucking righteous, because that's the energy that I got from that. Hate
Well,
mail
like,
was righteousness.
100%.
And I
And,
was
like,
just like, well, I'm like,
you were
I didn't
talking
think
about-
spiritual people are supposed to be like that. And I'm like,
They're just human.
And then I'm confused because I'm like, this is why I'm not a part of a community. I'm like, this is why I never fully went into a community, because
Same.
I'm like, ugh.
No.
I'm like, I like the sweat lodges, I like the cacao
Yeah.
ceremonies, I like this and this, but when it comes to that, I'm like,
Still, but even in, let's say, in like your past life, your youth life,
Yeah.
you didn't hang on to those communities very long either.
No,
You
I
bounce,
didn't.
bounce, bounce.
yeah,
Right? That's just your nature.
that's just my nature.
But like when you were talking about safe containers
Yep.
and whatnot, so let's go back to your couple that you helped bring to a sex party because
Yes.
they wanted to explore that, right?
Yep.
In a safe way.
In a
and they were
safe way.
kind of nervous to do it themselves, and they needed somebody to assist them with that and bring them in there.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the thing that made the like love and light community like razzled by you.
Yes.
Right? And it's
Yes.
like how I personally view it is you were helping people.
Yeah.
Like you were helping people. You weren't going there and being like you were so in your integrity.
Yeah.
You're so in your integrity. You're like, okay, these people need this from me. Okay, let me think. What can I do for them? How can I walk them through their feelings? How can I do all of this,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And for somebody to put that down is like I don't even want to say anything bad about it.
Yeah.
Because
I don't want
just,
you to
it just
either,
is what
because
it
then,
is.
then we're projecting that
Yeah.
same energy, and I don't want that.
But I guess, you know what I would say? As a shameless, my mom always used to say, she's like, you are shameless. And I was always like, so? So
Good.
Sorry, I'm living my best life. But that's what I would say. That's what I would say, actually, is guys and girls and communities and everybody fucking listening is like, shame is the biggest fucking party pooper.
It is.
Like, it's the biggest party pooper. It's the biggest party pooper when you feel it within yourself. It's an even bigger party pooper when you're trying to inflict shame on somebody else.
Or you feel it, the collective shame.
Yeah.
That shit fucked me up.
Exactly.
That shit fucked me up. I haven't been the same since.
But it's good. It's good. You're cleansing. You're starting to cleanse yourself of the shame. You know? You're starting to cleanse yourself of it because it's like...
It doesn't serve me. For what purpose? Because, and it's like, and then I'm like, this isn't even mine. I'm like, people are throwing their fucking shame at me.
Yeah.
It's theirs. It's not even mine.
And it's like, okay, so let's say that you are a man. And let's say that you are quietly addicted to pornography. Okay?
Yeah.
You hide it from your wife. You obviously hide it from your kids. You delete your history. Every guy listening right now is like, oh, does she know my life?
We do.
Hey, if you go on to a kid or husband's computer and you see deleted history, I'm furious.
Yeah.
I'm furious. You liar, you sneaker. What are you trying to fucking hide? I'd rather see a whole laundry list of things that disturb me than see nothing at all.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, what are you hiding, you sicko?
Right, exactly. And then what are they creating?
Yeah.
Shame.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like, I think what we need to think about and the way that we kind of collectively need to like internalize this. So let's say you're this guy and you're doing that, okay?
Yeah.
No way this guy doesn't feel ashamed of himself, okay?
Yeah.
But I think rather than feeling ashamed, here's how okay, guys, this is just a life lesson for me. This is, I didn't choose this life chose me. And it's like just cosmically, is that rather than going like, I feel ashamed about this, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is probably a not great decision. Right? It's just a choice.
Yeah.
Everything you're doing is just a choice.
Yeah.
So then you go, is this choice like a choice that's like a positive choice, a good
Does it
choice,
feel
a
good
thing
in
that's
my
like, yeah,
body?
it's like, does this feel good from step A to step B all the way to the end? From the moment you search the porn up, do your dirty deed in a sad little dark room, watching some sad porn girl.
Making sure somebody did the door
Is the
just
door
open
locked?
down? Sure, somebody's home. Hurry up.
So awful. So you go.
I don't want that for anybody. I don't want that feeling for anybody.
Absolutely.
For them to feel that.
But if that's what they're feeling from it, right? It's up to them to go, is this feeling my own?
Yeah.
Right? Do I personally feel weird and gross and like I shouldn't be doing this? Or do I feel like this is coming from outside of me?
Right.
And I feel like that is the biggest thing. I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's exactly. It's like,
check
do
in with
I
your body. Yeah.
feel okay? So like, when it comes to like more kinkier things or like rougher intimacy and stuff like that, that's definitely more my style because as I've said many times on this podcast, I have a hard time being in my body without it being like I can't be gentle really with my body and be present in it. I have to go for a run, or I have to like, if I were to move the couch that we're sitting on, I'd feel like, whew, I'd feel like kind of like, ooh, something's gone through me because it was hard, you know, or like little bits of pain. Not a lot of pain like my neck and my shoulder right now. I tell you, chronic pain, don't rate it good. But like I have to have intensity to be aware that I am also a body. Okay.
Yeah. But you're moving out of that a little bit, aren't you?
Am I?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Because
but I don't care. Like I don't even want to move out of it. I like it.
I know you like it, but you're actually. I love the fact that you're listening.
Yeah.
To your body, and you're like,
your body's like, you're old.
No, and you're like putting the armor down and letting yourself rest and taking that nap, which like you wouldn't have done that. Like I don't think 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have been conscious enough of that.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
And it's just like the idea that I would have to feel shame about the way that I have my consenting relationship with my husband is so fucking bizarro to me.
Yeah, I know, because
It's so bizarre.
I
Nobody
Yeah.
could convince me of that. Nobody. Because I have lived experience and it doesn't feel bad. And the times that I have done things that are stupid, like we've all done stupid sex shit. Like we probably still all do stupid sex shit, like Mr. like watching the porn in the room, and you know what I mean. But I think it's really, really important. And whatever exercises you have to do, like this is a fucking 1 hour long podcast. We can't get too deeply into this, but like you really have to like know yourself.
Well, get to know yourself.
Yeah, know
Number
yourself.
one, get
Be
to
like,
fucking know yourself.
Is this something I feel not good about?
Yeah.
Or is
Like,
this something that it's like everyone else is trying to make me feel bad about, but I don't feel bad about it.
Right, exactly. So that can intake into a body scan, right? Like you start at your feet,
Yeah.
and you just kind of like you visualize your body, you look at your body and you body scan it, and you see like, okay, is there anxiety in my belly, or is
Right.
my heart kind of like it's like, so for me, I get that anxiety in my sacral or my solar plex, or I get like this squeezing, like my heart's just like and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what is that? What is that feeling? Is that mine, or is that the collective?
Yeah.
You know, or is that other people trying to fucking put their shame shit righteousness on me?
Yeah.
Which, like, and it's okay if they do, but I need to discern if that's mine or if that's theirs.
100%.
But then at the same time,
That's tricky shit.
But at the same time, in spiritual realm, what is theirs is mine, because they're just a reflection of me, baby.
Yeah.
You're all just a reflection of.
The world is crystals. So it's like it.
So how do we move out of shame?
Well, that's
Like,
the
not
thing.
move
It's
out
like,
of it. Because it's there.
Yeah.
Shame is there, and
well, that's
there's
what I'm
nothing
saying.
wrong.
You have
with
to
shame.
literally go, is this mine?
Yeah.
Or is this something that I'm supposed to feel bad about?
Yeah.
Right?
Because
it's like,
society says so.
exactly. Or because, like, yeah, maybe your parents made you feel weird about it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different places that it can come from.
Other kids when you're
And you know
growing
what? I
up.
feel like sometimes you have to actually, like, almost take a break from, let's say we're talking just about sexual shame, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you have to, like, take a break from all things. Like, let's say you are drowning in shame.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you got a lot of trauma. Maybe you're like, who the fuck knows, okay? You're like drowning in shame and trauma. I feel like it might not actually be a bad idea to try to like start from square one kind of thing.
I would tell them no porn, no
Yeah.
nothing, no
Yes.
nothing. So we're going to move into body pleasure exercises, massaging your feet,
Yeah.
talking to your feet. We would start at the root,
Yes.
at the root, and
Yeah.
we would like every week we'd go up
you
a bit of the body.
You are anew.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
and
we
then
would work
really
through
start to
that
figure out
energy.
like, what do you really like? What like
Exactly.
like organically?
Yeah.
You know, because also too, it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, we're so influenced by the outside realm.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like that would be really important. Like, I'm just again, we're just talking shit here. Okay, do what you want. But like, I think that's what I would do. Is like if I felt like just leveled with shame, and I've been through this with my partner, and it really is a good way to do that. You kind of just like stop everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, I loved the Spice Girls growing up. Okay, and
Which one was your favorite?
you don't know who my favorite was?
Posh.
Clearly.
Clearly.
I love you, Victoria Beckham. There is.
I love your husband, Victoria Beckham. So we'll have you both on the show.
Okay. I actually like one time there's this like this YouTuber, Evan Carmichael. Shout out to you, Evan Carmichael. And he's done amazing things with his channel. I don't know how many like followers he has now, probably like over 1 million. And he used to do these things where he would take like he would say, write in a famous person who inspires you in business, because he like does business and success like YouTube and podcasts, and he's written a book and stuff. Okay.
Right.
Like under every video, I'm like, Victoria Beckham, because I'm always like, she never gets enough credit. She was like a pop star
Yeah.
who like created this like then turned into like this amazing fashion and beauty
Yes.
entrepreneur.
Icon. She is.
100%.
100%.
And it was so, it would have been so
gorgeous.
easy for her to just ride the Spice Girl wave and never fight against the like mediocrity that was like going to be her life. David Beckham's wife, and she was like, no. also fellow Aries. But I was like, always like, Victoria Beckham, Victoria. And he actually made a video of it and was like, this video is for Chris Dunlop. And I was like, I'm famous! So that's how much I love Posh Spice. But anyways, so I remember Jerry Halliwell, when she left the Spice Girls and like went on this big like spiritual journey sort of thing. She said she was so confused about her sexuality. I can't remember. I wish I could remember, but she went like a year without any sexual shit.
I went 11 months.
Okay.
11 months. Twice I did it.
Why'd you do it?
I just
to
wanted
like clear out the webs and...
after when I came back from so after my husband and I got divorced, and then I met somebody for a little bit, like super beautiful human, and brought back faith of that masculine energy for me. So he was super needed. And then when I came back to Canada, I dated for a bit, and then I was like, I don't think so.
Okay.
We're clear cutting everything.
How did that go for you? Did you feel like it was like
it was perfect,
like eye opening as far as like shame is concerned, or not really?
No, that wasn't. I don't.
Maybe because that wasn't your intention?
That wasn't my intention
so,
at that
okay,
time.
so you have to go into it with intention then.
Yes, I really believe you do have to go into all of this stuff with intention.
So if you're going to do that, like, intimacy, sex break, like, all of that kind of self-pleasuring, like, you know what I mean by self-pleasuring. Yeah. If you're going to do that to kind of figure out where the shame is coming from, you have to do it with intention.
Well, everything we do should be with intention. Everything. So my intention at that time was just to get to know my body. So it wasn't about shit. Well, I guess maybe that was a good starting point, right? Yeah. So it was really about like, because I kept on thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm calling in my mind better men, quote unquote better, but I'm like, there's still this underline, and I'm like, okay, they're just a reflection of me, and I'm like, so what is it within me that I'm still attracting this? So I was like, yeah, let's take a break and let's figure this out. And so it was like, how do I want to be honored? How do I want to be treated? And I'm like, let's do this for myself. Yeah. And so that's what I did for me.
And it's interesting because you are quite like overtly sexual. Yeah. I think that pretty much anybody watching this podcast or anybody that knows us would think that you don't have any sexual shame.
Yeah, I know everybody's very surprised with that. It's like even doing, I've been practicing the postures. Yeah, like the presenting. Yeah, right?
like the for those of you that didn't watch that episode, it's like kind of like BDSM kind of stuff, like doms and subs and that kind of thing.
Like the submissive, because I'm still very curious to this realm to see if I can find that feminine energy and deepen more with it.
Posing is so fun.
I think it's beautiful. I used to model, so I love it.
It's like that, right? So you're basically like, again,
but then when you're posing and like literally you're like this, and so it's like
she's talking about her legs being open.
Yes, my legs. Sorry, my lovers that are only listening. I'm sorry, my loves. So literally, your legs are fully spread open, like you are presenting to creator. That's what it is. Your legs are open and you're up and you're opening up to that masculine energy. And for me, even doing it just by myself, my legs are shaking and I'm like, whoa, I'm like, what the fuck, Crystal? Or doing the when your head's touching the ground. What's the yoga pose? Why am I having a blank?
Downward dog?
Not downward. Well, that one's.
I don't know. I don't know
yoga. It's the not the baby pose. It's like where your head's touching the earth, and so your ass is up. Yeah. And so like you're just literally putting your ass to the sky, and it's like for me that one's okay, but it's when my legs are spread like this. I have this shaky feeling inside of me, and I think, what is that? Yeah. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I want to dive deeper into that energy and understand it more.
The most intense posing that you could do. Yeah, is that right? One. Like if you have a partner that, see, like how I always kind of like thought of it is that they're, God, I really wish all you guys could live inside my brain. My brain's pretty awesome for sexual things. I just twist things to make them suit my my narrative. But like, I think of it like okay, this person is so like enamored by your beauty, and it's such a fantasy for them to be like, I would love to see you pose like this.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny because I love men's bodies a lot, like more than I love women's bodies. I actually think men's bodies are more beautiful than women's when they get muscles and just how gorgeous and shapely they can look. And I think like, fuck, I would love to like have a guy where I'm literally just like, okay, now I want you to like put your chest down and like put your hands behind you like this and just pose like that. And
stand there like that, and then you go over and you walk to me. You're like, you're so beautiful.
That's it too, because it's not like they're looking at you being like, that's okay. Maybe let's flip it around. If it is, it's like, this moment is done, sir. Right? No, they're just like, they're so happy. They're like, oh yeah, oh my God, you're gorgeous. Oh my God, you're so beautiful.
Well, that's that's what a good dom will do when you're in that stance.
Yeah.
And you're there and you're focusing, and they come and they walk by you and they just like take their hand and whisper it by you, or they whisper like beautiful affirmations to you. It's just like, wow. It's
but
like,
because because it's labeled like somebody has labeled it dom and sub. For like English language, it's easy to use those so you can just communicate with ease. But it's nothing.
Bad and dirty.
It's just a man talking to a woman during sex.
Or a woman talking to a man.
It's so not a big deal. Telling him how
beautiful he is.
Guys, it's not a big deal. Stop making sex a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's never going to happen. Okay? It's really not a big deal when you're in a consenting relationship.
When you're in consenting relationships, and that's the whole thing. I find when you are these relationships, there's more transparency, there's more communication. When you actually are diving into the dirty realms.
Yeah, or trying new things that you've not tried before.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like you are really communicating more than you ever have.
Yeah.
Because now you're exploring.
And you're exposed.
And you're exposed and vulnerable. So if you
physically and spiritually.
Yeah. When you've got two people that are ready to dance in that realm, then who's to say?
Who is to say? And go ahead, you can, but it doesn't make you right.
It doesn't make you right. It just makes you righteous.
That's going on our cups next year. It doesn't make you right, it just makes you righteous.
I love that. That's a good one. Well, I was actually talking to a few people, and I said, I think I'd like to do our next podcast on like what is kink and what is fetishes. Like, what's the difference? Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Right?
We're going to explore that. That'll be fun.
We are going to explore that because I think everybody wants to know.
Yeah, because you pervs. All of our ones that have like sex in the title, those always get like the most. Perverse. So yeah,
but we're not shaming you.
No,
we invite the perversion.
What's your word? We don't need to depervitize you. Yeah. But it's like it is very, very, very interesting because so we're talking about big sex shame, right? Yeah. We're talking about some heavy sex shame, but it's funny because like. Even, let me go to like the most basic part of my world. So let's say I'm like on the side of the football field with some of the people I'm so grateful that I know. I'm so blessed to have these adults in my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's great because a lot of them are pretty perverted and it's really fun to have conversations with them. But I find a lot of the times there's lots that aren't.
Yeah.
And it's funny how coy, and I'm not saying being coy is sexual shame. Right? But you can hear it when people are like, they're trying to kind of like walk things back. Like, but like they'll say something and it can be interpreted a certain way and they want to make sure that you're not interpreting it the way that they don't want you to interpret it. You know, so they'll be like, oh, but it's not like that, it's not like that. And of course, if you're talking to me or Krista, we're like, oh, like,
we're like, let's dissect this motherfucker. What do you mean by that?
And they're like,
really?
No.
Yeah.
So it's like you can see it even in like the simplest way, or like one thing is like if you're a parent and I live a permanently uncomfortable life because my children are so open with me about their bodies and their sexuality that it's because I wanted it to be that way. I didn't want there to be
No,
shame. Like
no
my
shame.
poor mother, I only ever accidentally saw her body because she was always like hiding her body from
Yeah.
us. Like she was like ashamed of her body.
Yeah.
My parents were like really hid the fact that they like I have younger brothers. You've obviously fucking fucked and procreated,
Yeah.
right? But my parents always like hid that. Like you know what I mean? We all kind of like a lot of us, most of us, especially people our age and older, all of that stuff was hidden. So for me being a parent, I was like, it's going to be appropriate, right?
Yeah.
Age appropriate, but I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah,
my
same with
parents
me.
knew about, or my kids knew about like periods
Yeah.
when they were old enough to walk,
Yeah.
because I'd leave the bathroom door open and I'm changing it.
Yeah.
And
Same with Kaden.
It's important
And,
for them to see our bodies too, so they don't just see like fake
my
bodies.
mom, that was like, she was fine. Like it was, but there
Yeah.
was no conversations.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There wasn't conversations about sex. There wasn't like taught how to put a condom on. There wasn't. There wasn't that. It was just like.
Yeah, but I think you would have hated that when you were a kid, probably.
Yeah, but it wasn't like there wasn't shame either. Where there just wasn't.
Yeah.
There just wasn't anything.
So then,
you
the
know what I mean?
sexual
There was just
shame that
nothing.
like you feel didn't come from your parents.
No.
So
No.
where the sexual shame that you have bouts of from time to time, where do you in your life? Where do you think that comes from? Like, have you thought about
well,
that?
that probably comes from sexual abuse, right?
Yeah.
Through all of it.
And you also
Right.
said when you were driving that like you didn't really feel sexual shame till you got sober.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't feel sexual shame until I was sober. It's like that's when it all kind of came to the surface.
Ooh, that would have been heavy shit.
It was very heavy.
Yeah.
It was very heavy. It's like those little anxiety monsters that want to
Yeah.
fucking eat out your, like, chew out the side of your skin.
They want to just eat you
wanna
out.
Eat me out. Crystal.
You guys can come around anytime you want, I guess.
Yeah. No, if you're gonna eat,
If you're gonna eat me
somewhere.
out, sure. Shame, you're allowed.
So yeah, like it was like I think I really put myself into a lot of situations that were unhealthy for me sexually. Like
Yeah.
I really, but that it was in the moment. Even in the moment, yes, there was some regrets and like shame. But then drugs and alcohol, it was easy for me to like like whatever, fuck, who cares?
Yeah.
And then, you know, but those containers, that's where my growth was. Like when I look back at those circumstances, it's like, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Fucking thank you for that. Holy shit, was that ever painful in this human fucking experience? But wow, like it got me to meet this person, to do that, to do this, to do this, to do this, and to this, and now I'm sitting here doing with you, and I'm like, oh, if it wasn't for any of that, I wouldn't be able to even talk about any of this right now. So fucking yummy. Thank you for all of that shit and shame.
Yeah.
Thank you for the shame. Thank you. So it's even like, I'm having a thought now, maybe it's even just like, let's just have a different relationship with shame.
Yes.
That's it.
It's not
How
that
easy
it's not
is
that I
that?
don't feel shame.
Yeah.
It's that
You have a healthy
relationship-
relationship
Yeah,
with it.
I'm just
you
like,
have a healthy
oh,
relationship. You're like, hey, you,
fucking
fuck off.
shame. How's it going?
Yeah.
How's it going? And it's funny because I so quickly, especially with sex, because guys, sex is so weird. I say this all the time, and
I
everyone
know
just
she
kind of like
does.
looks at me like. But if you actually think about it, sex is so weird. You're just like, let's say you're like with your partner, and you're just like watching a movie or something like that. You're chilling, and then all of a sudden it's like maybe you start touching or something, and then you go from like talking about basic stuff to touching each other's bodies while you're kind of quiet and being like, "Ugh," and like making sounds and stuff. Yeah. And then you like put your body in another person's body.
Yeah.
But it weirdly
and you
feels
accept,
nice.
And you accept somebody putting their body
I'm sorry,
inside
that's
your body.
way more fucking weird
Than a
than somebody
spanking.
spanking or someone wearing like a
Tying
leather
you up.
mask or something.
Yeah.
It's like no. That's really weird. Okay,
Yeah.
the things that we do that are like innately animalistic and human, like eating, exercise. Okay, sleeping is the weirdest. It's like you die for like 6 hours. Because sleeping is so intimate and weird.
She had her cough and she's like,
I
yeah,
did.
this is how I sleep, motherfuckers.
Upside down like a bat.
Yeah. I hate dogs. I hate cinnamon.
And old people, I'm ashamed to say that. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, I think when it goes back to just like having a relationship with shame.
It is. It's having a healthy relationship with it. It really is.
And if you're carrying it around, it's just telling you gotta fix something.
Yeah, it's just
to
telling
work
you
on something.
Yeah.
What's the thing that's like? What's the thing that keeps making you feel like and just fucking work your way through that.
Yeah.
Don't be so fucking lazy.
Yeah,
like do
it's
the
true.
work.
It is. It's like peel those layers of the onion.
Yeah.
Like do the work. Because it's like, it may, like, I've had a bloody headache for 4 days now because of all of this. And I'm just like, and then at times I'm just like, I'm like, stop brain, fucking stop. And then my human brain's like, I'm overloading. And I'm like, okay, just breathe. And I'm like, okay, just stop. I'm like, take a fucking breath and let's go. Let's gently peel the layers, you know, like as my teacher said, just let's do this gently. It doesn't need to be hard. Crystal.
And have some humility and have a sense of
fun.
humor about it.
And that's what she said. Let's have fun with this topic.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
She's so gentle.
Like let's just have fun with it. Like it's funny. I love getting to know people, and when you get to know them, well, at least when I get to know them, I'm always like, tell me about your sexual past.
I know.
Like, I always want to like find out things.
I'm like, what's your kinks?
I know.
What's your dirtiest fantasy?
But it's crazy because it's such a big part of who we are. Like, our sexuality is like, oh my god, it's the best kind of conversation.
Because you get to learn a lot about people.
Yes. Actually, Nico told us a fabulous story that we were like, I wish that he would have like shared it on the podcast. We won't tell it or anything, but it's like that's kind of what I mean. Is like, I love. If you want my full undivided attention, tell me a sex story. Yeah. And tell me one that's like vaguely embarrassing. Because those are the best ones. And maybe that's
because
it.
They're
like,
human.
Oh god, and they're just
human.
funny.
Yeah.
It's like, and you know what? Here's like another thing too, okay? Like we were talking about dicks and penises and
AKA lingams.
Oh yes, sorry. And how guys, like, it actually would be really stressful to have one because guys just seem really stressed out about their dicks all the time.
Yeah.
And like
I feel bad for these
men.
Too. I'm like, it's a lot of stress having a cock.
It's so much stress. You have to be like the main pumper in sex.
Yes, you do.
Like
and you gotta keep it hard. You gotta keep the momentum going.
It's so stressful.
I had this one guy one time, and I was like, I'm looking at him and I'm looking at his eyes and I'm like, what do you think about? He's like, you want to know the truth? I said, yes, I do want to know the truth. He's like, I'm counting.
Pumps. Like, this is while you were having sex,
yes.
right? Yeah.
1, 2. I'm like, well, what number are you counting?
If it's under 100, I hate myself.
He's like 100.
We have different standards, me and this man. Oh my god. But like, it's really, really stressful. And then here's like a thing. It's like the amount, and I guess I can't speak for all women, but honestly, the women I've spoken to, and I've spoken to lots of women, the majority of us feel the same, okay, guys? Since we have 63% of our audience is male.
Hi, guys.
It's like the shame that men feel when they can't keep like a rock hard erection is ridiculous.
It is.
We don't care. You guys care. So you're all like, I'm so ashamed of my stupid dick. And then you get this horrible relationship with a part of your body. And it's like, girls don't care. Just keep going with something else. Just keep it
going.
Moving. Keep it. Yeah. It's like guys have so much dick shame. It's unfucking believable.
Well, I've got a good story.
Okay.
I was like in my younger years, I was at a club and I hung out with a friend and we went back to his place and he was very la-li-la with me and I was like, I of course got naked because I was younger.
You had those 20-year-old tits.
I had those 20-year-old tits, and we were at Mad Bar, right? It's one of these dodgy Toronto bars, after-hour bars, and I was probably fucked off my head.
Yeah.
And we went back to his and made some food and got ourselves, you know, like I got naked right away, and he was like, and we just had an amazing time. Really,
for you, it's a good memory.
It was a great memory, but I don't even remember him not keeping his lingam hard. But for him, that was a focus, and I was like, I'm like, I don't even remember you.
No,
not
but you
keeping
missed
your
a big
lingam
part
hard.
of this story. How many years ago was that ish?
I was 19. I'm 43.
Okay, so 20 years ago, and you've recently seen him again, and he told you that story.
Yes.
This man held on to the story for 2 decades, and do you know how much that shame? How much shame and like self-hate he must have had when he thought back to that memory instead of
having a good memory of me and being like, you know, wow, it was beautiful.
That was a wild moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been with the same partner forever, so I've had to hear his dick problems for like 1,000 years, right? And it's kind of the same thing. He'll be like, yeah, I remember this time, and I'm like, no.
No, I don't. I just remembered a really good time.
Yeah,
like a really beautiful, fun, nourishing, playful time.
And
then I think in my mind, I'm like, how does he remember that? And I remember this, and I think, wow. And then it shows me how like what's really going on in reality, because I'm like, that's their reality and this is my reality, and I'm like, wow, I create my reality and he created his. And I'm like, holy fuck, how powerful we are. And then see my mind starts tripping out, and I start
it is true. But that's what I mean. It's like there's so much freedom in having humor in these kinds of moments.
You have to.
And there's so much like beauty in just being
much.
like honestly, if guys are listening right now and sometimes your dick is just like, maybe you had a hard day at work.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a sore tummy. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you feel fucking ugly. Whatever it is, right? Yeah. And your dick is not being like a magic man. That like women want connection.
Yeah,
we want connection. You've watched too much fucking pornography.
Yeah, playfulness.
Like, yes, it's exactly.
We want
and honestly, if you were like, shit, my dick sucks right now.
Yeah,
be
but
like,
babe, guess what?
Yeah.
I still got this for you. She'll be like, yeah, babe.
Exactly.
Let's go. Or he's like, babe, my cock's a bit soft, but we're going to pour a bath. I'm going to bathe you.
There's so many things you can do.
So many things.
And it's like, it's so...
And I'm sure the cock will get hard. I'm sure.
It always does. It always does. And if it doesn't,
who cares?
God, communicate.
Yeah.
And if you're with a woman or a partner that's going to shame you with that, you guys have some work to do. And if you try to do that work and she's not up to it, then you might have to make a big sharp turn in your life.
You have to make some conscious decisions for yourself, and because there is more. I promise you, there is more.
Yes.
There's fucking more, and I know there is, because the more I get, the more I get. The more, and there's more joy, more happiness, more pleasure, more nourishment, more expansion, more growth. And I'm just like, oh, this is so yummy. And sometimes it's so heavy, and then it's just like, no, Crystal, it doesn't have to be this hard. Relax.
No, it's true. Yeah. And it's interesting because like we're talking about guys and their dicks, like a very physical part of their body.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a 40-year-old woman in like 7 days,
it's gonna be your birthday,
and I'll really be 40, guys.
Yes.
I've been practicing. I've been saying I'm 40 for about a month now, just so I can like practice it. But I find like as a woman who is getting older, and talking to women who are getting older, I find a lot of women have body shame. Yeah. Lots of body shame.
See, this is the one thing where
You just skipped it.
I've skipped it.
Yeah.
That shit I skipped. Like, I really, about 3-4 years ago, because you know me, I can fluctuate 25 pounds like nobody's business. Up, down. I'm 145, I'm 165. I'm 145, I'm 165. Yeah. And I got to a point where, like, I'm like, I love both. I'll say to her once in a while, I'll be like, I miss my bum. I miss my ass. I miss my big booty, baby. But you're right with a lot of women. But that was just me accepting, like, literally looking in the mirror every fucking day. Literally looking in the mirror and being like, you are perfect. You are perfect. Yeah. You're always perfect. If you have 20 pounds on, 20 pounds off, baby, you are fucking perfect. And it was just that, a constant.
Well, a lot of it is just the energy that you bring. Yeah. Right? Like, you could see a girl who, like, imagine being in, like, a strip club and you see, like, a fucking 10. Like, she's made, like, a Barbie, right? But if she's got that kind of energy where it's, like, needy or, like, a little self-conscious,
she goes down to a 7.
Yeah, but if you see some, like, woman who's maybe has, like, no tits, a big kind of pear shape, or something that's not conventionally, like, beautiful, luscious. But she is just fucking loving herself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like she comes off as being so much more delicious and radiant.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that I've had to really work on as I've aged, because a lot of the like love that I've received from people has been because of my appearance, right? Like I was like a Hooters girl and stuff like that, right? So a lot of like the praise and love that I've gotten was because of my appearance. And
Because of your beauty.
as you get older, though, it changes. So for like the last like 5 years or so, I've been really having, and I wouldn't say it's shame because I don't feel shame about it.
Yeah.
But I do have to be like, okay, it's real life. Like, you just gonna have to like emanate this like amazing energy because, like, you know, gravity. Fuck you. We're changing the name of this episode. It's just going to be called Gravity. But yeah, so it's so sad when you think about like, okay, fuck everybody young right now. Let's just talk about people our age.
Yes.
And like 10 years above kind of thing. Like, you think about the guys who are sad about their dicks not being like 20-year-old rock hard dicks that all they have to do is have a thought and they get a boner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And then women who are like, oh my God, my body looks so different now.
I've got stretch marks.
and then
my
you've
hips
got
are at
this,
the here.
like-
My tits are sagging.
Yeah, you've got this like these two wounded birds full of all of this shame, and they're like, how can those two, like, how can they connect?
Yes.
You know, that's tricky.
Yes, because most men don't give a fuck. They're just happy you are giving up the poom poom.
Yeah,
They really are.
And if
Like,
they're with you, they fucking love you.
Yeah, most men are like, they're like, Crystal, please tell the women we don't care.
Yeah.
We are just so happy you'll have sex with us.
Yeah, and also too, like, that you want the person.
Yeah.
Feeling wanted is like,
It really isn't
Ooh.
feeling desired, but that starts with you.
it does.
That starts with you. If you don't
Yeah.
know how to want yourself and to desire yourself, remember, this is why I went celibate for
Yeah.
almost a year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because I had to figure that out.
Yeah.
How do I desire myself?
Yeah.
How do I want myself? How do I want to show up for
Yeah.
my partners and to be able to teach them?
And that goes back to our very first episode
Yeah.
when we were talking like to our female viewers, which, come on, guys.
I know, ladies.
Guys, you're in the 40%.
I'm thinking maybe Nico might, because he actually
he's hit-
serenades.
oh my God.
Wait
You guys-
until you get ladies.
So you have to listen to our last episode, the one that we just did, part 2 with Nico. Bitch sings a song on the guitar after.
He serenades.
My God. But like, it was, yeah, it's like, you have to, oh fuck. And that just like leads right into shame.
Yeah.
You know, if you can just like connect to yourself, connect to your sensual self and your sexual self. God, shame cannot penetrate you.
It can't be there. It can, but you're like, oh, hi, how are you? You, it's just there. It's not. There's no effect, because we need everything. We need anger. We need shame. We need it all. So we're not trying to like be like shame.
Yeah.
It's about being like, yeah, you're there, because you're
Yeah.
not even
You
in
have
this
to figure out
frequency.
how you're going to deal with that. The same
Yeah.
way that like if you're at work and
with your anger, it's the same thing as dealing with anger,
exactly
dealing with
you
your
have
anxiety.
to learn how to deal with the
Yeah.
things that don't feel great inside of you.
Yeah.
And because sex is such this like and for all of us, right? It's
Yeah.
so tender.
Yes,
It's so
it's
vulnerable.
vulnerable. Ugh.
And it's like you have to get really good at dealing with what attacks that, and that is shame.
Yeah.
Right? That's what definitely, and like a work situation would be like anger.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, or school, it's like fuck.
Yeah.
Right? And then you got to learn to, okay, how am I going to cope? How am I going to like make this better for me?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with shame and sexuality. And I think everybody's going to deal with it differently. For me, I deal with it like, obviously I've said this the whole podcast, but for me, I deal with it with humor. I have to. Because it's all so ridiculous. Like I said, like sex is such a weird thing that it's like, it's too bizarre for me to like have shame around it.
Well, you know that book Essential Kink? What's her name? The writer? Do we remember?
Fuck, I forget right now because it's been a while.
Ooh, I just pulled it out too. Anyways, the one thing
Best
she
book.
says in the book, it's an amazing line. She's like, God is one kinky motherfucker.
Yeah.
She's like, if
True.
God has created all that is,
Yeah.
he's a kinky motherfucker.
Yes.
And I was like, ooh, I resonate with that.
Me
I'm
too.
like, that feels good. I'm
Deeply.
like, wow. I'm
Yeah.
like, what a line.
Yeah.
What a fucking line.
It's true.
That to me, I was like, that's the yummiest line in the whole book. It's that.
It is. No, that's like, I remember reading that too and just feeling like, I feel like that whole book, which maybe one day we'll get into, but that whole book to me was like,
that's
how
how this
I
podcast
feel.
started.
Oh yeah, it is. That's
how the
right. That's
podcast
right. So it's like how I felt when I read that book was like having somebody like put into like verbiage, to put into like language what I felt, and they put it in so much more like they said it. She said it so much more
she did
specific than I could possibly have said it at the time. But a lot of it's like it all of the stuff that we feel ashamed about, it just is.
It just
if
is.
It exists, it just
It
is.
There's no good, there's no bad.
No, it just is.
Fucking is.
The thing that I always live by is like, don't do anything. The only thing that is bad in the universe is if you take away somebody's ability to live their life to the fullest and to live their life to their happiest. That's it. Outside of that, do you.
Yeah.
Do you.
Yeah.
But if you take away somebody's like child molestation, rape, like thievery, you know, like that feels super and trust me, I have a very like low bar for bad feelings. It's like whatever, but like that feels bad, that resonates, like that's like, oh, I don't like that feeling, you know. But that's why I say, if it's consenting, if you're a consenting adult, it's like if it's consent, it can't possibly be bad.
But being
No, don't get into that because that's not because
I
there's
won't,
humans and then there's God.
I won't.
There's the human realm, and you have to respect that.
Yeah.
You have to respect people's personal
autonomy.
with
100%. But people didn't respect my personal autonomy, and those were my biggest lessons.
Yeah,
that was my biggest growth. So that's where this is a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, but that's where that's where my brain's hurting, babe. It's there. It's that platform right there, honey.
But that's,
do you know what I mean? I would love for us to crack that at another time.
Yeah.
But like literally, it's like, but that was taken from me multiple times. I took it from people.
Yeah.
When I was younger, and I wasn't conscious and aware of what I was doing, right? Because I was shown something that I thought was okay and what I thought was love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
another day. But you see what I'm saying? It's I do see. When you say that, I'm like, yes, that feels right. I fucking agree. But then I'm like, then my brain's like, well, no, but they did that to you, so that blah blah blah, and that happened for this reason. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It just means you have a lot of fucking self-love. Yeah. If you can look at yourself now and be like, all those really, really shitty things that happened to me were actually good. Yes. No, they weren't good. It's not good what happened to you. Somebody took something from you when you had zero consent, right? It wasn't good what happened to you. You just have a lot of self-love, and you've gone, I'm going to shift it, and it is exactly in line with what we're talking about. If you are feeling shame right now, shift it, make it work for you. Maybe it's bad, maybe it's shitty what happened to you, maybe the things that you're doing every day, like Mr. Porn in his room, maybe what you're doing every day is making you feel really, really shitty. Then love yourself enough to change it. Shift that energy around. It doesn't make it doesn't make it good, it doesn't make it okay. You know? Yeah. But it just goes, I fucking love myself, and I'm not wasting one more second of my fucking life in this bad place. In that energy. And going, this is bad that happened to me. This is bad. This is bad. It is bad. It is bad. And if not enough people told you that it's bad, I'm fucking sorry. And I'm sorry to everybody out there. You know what I mean? And if you're doing stupid ass shit right now that is like hurting you or hurting somebody else, stop, have some fucking self-love. And move out of it. It doesn't make the things that were bad not bad. But it just goes, I look at myself and I wouldn't want to be a different person than I am now. That just means you have a lot of fucking self-love, and you've used your word, alchemized. You've just alchemized that. You know? So there is clear good and there is clear bad in a very small region. Everyone's made it seem like this whole big block of stuff is bad. That's why I said at the beginning of the podcast, spanking doesn't equal child molestation.
Yeah.
You've got two consenting adults who are like, hey, do you want to try something weird? Sure. Right? And then it's like, that's two people being like, hey, do you want to be weirdos? Or 3 people or 4 people or 10 people, whatever the fuck you're into. Or something that's not consenting.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
But if something has been, everybody's pretty much got checkered past. Some of us worse than others. But what do you fucking do with that? And that is exactly in line with what we're talking about today, which is shame. And it's like, I don't want shame to feel bad inside of me.
Yeah.
Even if it is bad what happened,
Yeah.
I'm over that feeling bad.
Yes, I am.
And so maybe you need to change things in your actual physical life. Maybe you need to work up here. Maybe you need to explore, right? Whatever it is. But shame doesn't have to feel bad. Just like anger doesn't have to take you over. You know? It's like I always say to people, like, teenagers, they like, oh my God, my son Dexter, he's like 14, he's going through it. It's like when you kind of go through puberty, you start getting kind of crazy. And like more than just like your hormones can make you like have weird obsessive thoughts and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And I used to say to my daughter when she was like, I'm just sad, like all of the time. I feel like I'm sad a lot, right?
Yeah.
I was like, it's just an emotion.
Yeah.
Like all you want to do is be happy all the time, Kalea, my daughter. Daughter producer, hi. Like, I'm like, you say, like, you just want to feel happy. That's equally as crazy as wanting to feel sad all the time.
Yeah.
We don't need to attach ourselves so tightly to the feelings that we feel, the memories that we have. We don't need to be so fucking connected with those. Have some humor. Let it go. Yeah. Laugh at your weird human self.
Yeah.
Be lighter with your past experiences. You have right now. Like you literally, all you really fucking have is right now.
It's true.
You know? So you can live in the past. We were talking about this at the hotel. You and I tend to live in the future a bit. That's why we're like, we have like we have a higher energy because we're always looking forward, being like, oh my God. People in the past I find have a lower kind of energy. It's a lot of like a heavier because they're carrying stuff around.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? But what we should be aiming for is to live right fucking now. And if you're holding on to this is bad, this was good, this is this, oh look at her, she's bad, that's this, oh my fucking God. Be obsessed with yourself. Be obsessed with yourself. Be obsessed with everything that you think and do, just like radiating out of you and feeling amazing and feeling beautiful, you know? Yeah. So that's my fucking power rant, bitches.
Woo! Well, that's it. Shame. Here we go. I hope you guys got something from this.
I kind of like shame. It's funny.
I think.
I think you're gonna start liking shame.
Me and
shame.
I'm not going to allow shame to be the creepy little hands anymore.
No.
I'm going to be like, shame, you're okay to sit right there beside me.
Yeah.
And just hang out, and as long as you're cool. You just got to be cool.
Do you know what I like to think
be
of?
Cool,
I like
Shane.
to imagine them as like kind of like monsters.
Yeah.
Like
that.
Yeah, like little ETL monsters. But I like to imagine them being like invited to like a dance party with me.
Yeah.
You know, and you're kind of like, you're like dancing with all these things. You're like, okay, this is cool, I guess. You know, you've got like the big shame monster who's like, oh, is this okay that I feel good? Yeah, it's all right. You feel good, shame. Like, just fucking be lighter with yourself.
Yeah.
And God damn it, people, be light with sexuality. It's so gross.
Yes.
It's so weird. It's so trippy.
Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Let's have shame move into fun.
Yes.
Let shame move into fun, and let's nourish shame. Let's see shame and be like, don't worry, we're not going to shame you, shame.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to bring shame up to the surface.
Yeah. And just because it's like not something that we like constantly talk about in society, right? Because that's another thing that makes sex feel shameful is that we don't, like, you're not at work and being like, oh man, my crotch really hurts from being just like absolutely fucked last night. Like, you're not gonna bring that up naturally in a social setting, which again,
maybe some do though. I think a lot
kind of
do.
like to do stuff like that.
Like, I know, but like in the kitchens and stuff, babe.
Oh,
like,
I know.
Like, and my mechanic, I'm like, where's the dirty pervert calendars? He's like, Crystal, I have female clients. I'm like, get both, men and women. I'm like, come on.
Yes.
You know?
So yeah, so I can understand why, but we can all be bigger than society too. We can all laugh at how weird and secretive we are with our sexuality.
Let's do it.
You know?
I feel like this is a great platform.
I agree.
for all
And we
of
thank
us.
you guys so much for listening to this podcast
Yeah.
and supporting us.
Yes.
And again, I'm shouting out all of the women. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. And it was funny
Oh,
because
yeah, it's Women's Not International Day.
it is. Upon this recording, it is
Yeah.
International
So
Women's
we're
Day.
sending out the vibe to all of the amazing goddesses.
The 40, what is it? 40, oh God, what would it be? 47% of you guys. No, that's not right.
No.
Is that right? No, it's 30,
30 something.
37.
Yeah.
Guys!
Ladies.
Okay, well, I can't blame you guys. You're actually listening. So thank you, ladies, for actually listening. But maybe tell your friends and that they could listen. And also
Like,
to
share, follow.
like, share, follow, comment, subscribe.
Wah, wah, wah.
But and to the men who we see you guys listening, like amazing. Thank you. And I don't know why you listen to us. We love you. And
I think they're learning.
yeah,
I hope so.
It's funny because we were talking about this, and I was like saying that I'll say that to people. I'm like, yeah, actually, the majority of our listeners are men. People are like, duh. I'm like, okay, if you watched, you clearly haven't watched one of our episodes
Yeah.
because
We're
we're
just
not
talking
like
shit.
taking our shirts off and like, no, we're literally sit in my living room and we just have power rants and talk shit. And
About sex.
yeah, this is like not a sexy podcast.
No. It's a mom and sexual podcast.
Thank you, men and women, for listening to our podcast. Thank you for joining us on our first season. We're going to take a little bit of a break,
Yes.
and we're going to come back, and I'm going to have an orange face.
And
With my
she's going to
nose.
have hair out to here.
Nice.
Get ready for her Dallas hair.
Did I tell you I
everybody.
remember? It's Elnet. I
Elnet.
remembered the name of the spray.
Okay.
I was like watching it, and I was like, it's
Okay.
Elnet. So
Okay.
I'm going to find some motherfucking Elnet, and I'm going to have like news anchor hair.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to watch this podcast and be like, look at my hair. It was so
Well,
flat.
I'm feeling I'm going to try to stick with the jungle here.
I
over
like the
here.
jungle
This-
hair.
This,
It's working.
this vibe.
And maybe you'll be more tanned in our next podcast
More
too.
tanned?
Oh no, you're going
No,
to UK.
I'm not
it's gonna
allowed to be
strip
tanned
it.
though. Remember, I'm getting some stuff done on my face.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's gonna be hard for you.
I know. But I can tan my body. But it's going to look kind of weird. White face, tan body?
It'll catch up in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fuckers. That's.
Okay, we
I'm,
love you.
I'm sad. I'm sad that this episode has to be over. It was a lot of
It's
fun.
over an hour, you know?
Look at
Hour and
us.
a half.
Look at us. Okay, well, actually, we really do love you guys. Thank you so much
We do.
for joining us. We're gonna see you in season 2, and yeah, don't have shame.
No shame, baby.
No shame.
Don't shame.
Don't shame. Dance with shame.
Yeah.
Dance with them.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, fuckers. Love
We
you.
love you.
Bye.